This is day 17 of our European tour, October 2009. We visited Mykonos. Pause this, you can see the circuit that the cruise liner took. The bus took us into the port in Athens, where they offloaded us and loaded our bags into the Aegean Sea, which was the name of the cruise liner.
Here you see the terminal to the right hand side where I have to look for the tickets, and we're gonna drop our coach here somewhere.
That one, yeah, silver.
It's the blue one right over there on the other.
Silver whisper. That one. Oh, look at that. Silver whisper.
If you pause this, you can get some idea of Piraeus Harbour. This ship is 165 metres long and it can travel at 15 to 16 knots, and we're going to travel from Athens to Mykonos, a total of 90 nautical miles, and that works out to 6 hours on the boat. And of course we spent about 3 days on the boat altogether. We had to wait our turn to be escorted to our rooms, so there was a lounge for that. Once we settled into our cabin, we went upstairs to the lounge coffee shop on the top deck and had a little bit of a look around and took some photographs. And here's a photograph of some of the ladies with Philip Matthews, the tour guide, and somebody commented that he likes the women. I think he was intrigued by my wife because she's deaf and he paid a lot of attention to her. We had to go through the emergency procedure, so they handed out the life jackets and made us sit around and from memory listen to a voice over the loudspeaker. Here's a shot of Mykonos Island from the cruise liner before we got onto the motor launches and went to the shore. And in the bay were some of these very expensive yachts, as the Europeans and Americans call them. We had to sit around for a little while and we were introduced to the day tour guide. We got onto the bus and they took us to the local, what I would call fishing port. Here's some photographs of the little township from the bus on the way to the little fishing village. My wife took a bit of a video on the way. So then we had a little bit of a look around and we walked along the beach where they would pull the fishing boats up and they had these squid hanging out to dry, and I wondered what that was for, and it turns out that they grilled them, marinated them and grilled them up, and some of the people had tried and said they were delicious. So here is the township looking up to the windmills. And you'll start to notice, like I said in another video, all the whitewashed buildings, mostly white buildings with the blue trim, and of course that's the colour of the Greek flag. This is one of the squares where we stopped for a little bit of a talk. This is the day tour guide giving us the talk, and you'll see the young lady with the toy which she carried around pretty much everywhere we went. Then we walked through some streets on the way to the windmills.
deze ronde die vullen,
members of the tour group, being cheeky with a surprised look when we took a photograph. Then we walked up the hill to these 4 or 5 windmills, and here's a photograph of our cruise liner and all the little boats that took us into the shore. Little Venice is to the right of the photograph, and you can see the shops and the buildings are very low and close to the waterline.
Used for grinding grain 150 years ago, and during the War of Independence, it started in 1821, they were also used to store weapons and so on. Okay, they used to have sails on them, therefore when the wind blew they would turn around, grind the grain, and they would store the grain and put it away. Okay, nowadays of course it's just there for aesthetic purposes. Some have turned into galleries, others are just there and they get opened up every now and then whenever they have a promotional party. Give yourself 10 minutes, go up to the top, take some nice pictures of Little Venice, which is right across from us, and come back. Okay, if you need a restroom, you're more than welcome to use the restaurant.
It seems to be a common thing on this island where the tourists would gather on top of the hill and wait for the sunset. There's Little Venice again, and there's the hill we walked up. And of course we can't go anywhere without a selfie photograph, and we got one of the tour guides to take a photograph of us together with the windmill in the background. Here's another photograph of Little Venice, and you can see it better how the houses and shops are very, very close to the water. This is late in the afternoon, nearly dusk, and the sun's just 15 minutes away from setting over that little island in the distance.
Ian, the moon's behind you.
There we are.
They are.
We didn't take notice.
So you can see the moon over the top of the island, and you turn around and here was the sun setting over the top of another island. Then we headed back through the small streets back towards the bus to take us back to the boat. One thing I noticed, although these islands were full of gift shops and novelty shops, the clothing shops were just chock-a-block full of quality clothes. That was similar to the quality that I found in the Italian shops, although we didn't buy anything.
You're taking pictures. This is the oldest church on Mykonos, called Paraportiani, which means the church of many doors. Completely asymmetrical church. All right. It has 5 chapels in one building. So one in the back, one on the right-hand side, and 2 in the front and 1 at the top. Okay. So
it always amazes me how the moon gets bigger and bigger in different countries in the world. We didn't buy any of this food, but it was well and truly displayed properly with beds of ice. I would have loved to have had one of these shrimp. They were huge, if they are shrimp.
and everything. Pelican. Well, Philip's not here, so we can't do that.
He likes the women.
I know.
Here's a night image of the other cruise ships around the harbour, the harbour itself, as well as the shops along the shoreline. It's quite beautiful at night. After a very interesting day, we went back to the Aegean pool and relaxed and had dinner and then went to bed. And while we were asleep, the cruise ship travelled to the next destination. Like all cruise ships, there's a procedure for getting on board. You present your card and they scan it, and that way they're able to keep a record of any missing passengers.
Let me just use the phone. Thank you.
The video was produced by myself, and it's the end of another exciting video of day 17 of our European tour, October 2009. We visited the island of Mykonos in Greece.